Hey everybody, Kevin here, WQ9F. Thanks for joining me today for another video here on WQ9F Ham Radio, where we talk about ham radio gear, news, reviews, and most importantly, getting on the air. So today we have a question that we're going to ask, and that is, can you still get a deal on eBay buying ham radio stuff? So with the cancellation of all the hamfests in 2020, and some of them even going into 2021 now, a lot of people have turned to the internet in order to buy ham radio gear. That includes, Facebook pages, Discord servers, QRZ, and that's right, eBay. Now, I've been selling on eBay for a long time, and I've kind of followed some trends and the price of equipment. So the question is, can you still get a deal on eBay? Well, we're gonna find out because I bought a radio on eBay recently, and it just showed up. So this is still sealed. We're gonna open it up, see what's in the box, and we're gonna test it out. We're gonna take a look inside, and we're gonna see if it was worth it. Alrighty, so in the box here, we have a purchase from eBay. This was advertised as a Yaesu FT-100D. So a little bit about the Yaesu. The Yaesu FT-100D is a HF, VHF, UHF mobile radio. This radio came out in the early 2000s. While it did have there was some issues that came along with it. Some people really enjoyed it. And this is kind of when we started seeing a lot of these mobile, what we'll call shack-in-the-box radios. Now, I had a Yaesu FT-100 back in the mid-2000s, and I didn't have any problems with it. It worked. I ended up selling it. It wasn't the greatest radio, but we ended up picking this up for $375. Now, if you look at prices for other all-in-one mobile radios and see what they're going for, such as the FT-857, the IC-706, even into the FT-891, which is really just an HF radio, we'll see that prices are pretty high right now. Now, at $375, I thought this was a good. I thought this might be a good radio to buy and see if it's worth it. Now, I've been looking for a smaller radio that I could use for Parks on the Air. Right now, when I do a Parks on the Air for 100-watt activations, I take my IC-7300. Now, that's not like the most portable radio of all time, the IC-7300. It works great, but also, now that I'm building a station at home, I'd like to leave the IC-7300 at home. I don't want to have to unhook that and carry it with me. So I've been keeping my eyes open for a smaller radio to take with me for Parks on the Air. Now, I have a QRP radio that I take for Parks on the Air, the Elecraft KX2, which is super great radio. I love it. I don't regret purchasing that one bit. But I'm limited to 10 watts out using the internal battery, 12 watts if I use the external battery. And while 10 watts does a trick most days, I'd like to have 100 watts with me just in case I'd like to use a 100-watt radio. So we picked this up. So let's open up the box and see what it looks like inside. See what we got. If you haven't done so, make sure you hit the like button. Go ahead, any comments. If you have any ideas about what a good, affordable 100-watt mobile shack-in-a-box radio is right now, or maybe you've gotten a good deal recently, put them down in the comments. Let me know. I'm always looking for suggestions. Also, if you haven't done so, hit the subscribe button. I appreciate all my subscribers. Y'all are awesome. I love the comments I get and the messages I get from you. So please keep it up. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. Every time my subscriber count goes up, it makes me feel great. It makes me feel like I'm really contributing. And I'd love to be able to keep making these videos for you. Also, once we hit 250 subscribers, I am doing a giveaway of an HT. So keep your eyes out for 250. We're only 100 away. We hit 150 subscribers recently, and I really appreciate it. I really appreciate every one of you. So thank you. Thank every one of you. All right, so here we got a box. Inside of here is supposed to be our Yaesu FT-100D. I'll put a little screen cap here of the ad. And so let's open this up. This was shipped FedEx. It showed up this morning. I was a little worried because it's like there was no updates forever, which is crazy because I feel like I've gotten FedEx shipments before, and the shipping's pretty quick. So this actually took almost a week to get here. And it's just like we're ordering from HRO. Look at all these packing peanuts. Ooh. Like I gotta be real careful, otherwise they get everywhere. Alright, so I see some bubble wrap item in here. Let's try to keep these packing peanuts inside the box. We will set that aside. All right. Well, at least, God, there's everywhere. At least this looks pretty well packaged. A lot of bubble wrap, taped up. Doesn't look like it's been untaped. Now let's find out where the opening is. Looks like... really well packaged. A lot of times buying on eBay though, you do get the benefit of the doubt as the purchaser. So if this item shows up damaged, or if this item shows up not as described, hopefully we can get that resolved. So the first thing I'm noticing right now is this item was sold as an FT-100D, Yaesu FT-100D. This is not a Yaesu FT-100D. Yaesu made, before they made the FT-100D, they made another version of this radio. It was called the FT-100. Now the FT-100 had a couple things. One, the FT-100 did not have that great of a speaker. The FT-100 also did not have a, I don't know what's going on here. The FT-100 didn't have the greatest internal speaker. The FT-100 also did not have a TCXO, which is a time-controlled oscillator clock. It also did not have a CW filter. Now those all could be added, but this does not have those. So that's already a little bit of a concern. I know it seems weird, but I just smelled the microphone and it smells like smoke. That's like kind of like strike number 2 right now. I mean, it's got some marks. Right now, the knobs seem fine. Buttons seem okay. It does smell, not gonna lie. So on this radio, we do have a detachable faceplate. So on the side here, that slides off. So here we have the faceplate for this radio. It's similar to It's similar to the 857. It's got a little bit bigger screen, but we still have this big VFO knob. And then, of course, since this is a mobile radio, this is all menu driven. You know, the radio's dirty. Got a microphone here. Yaesu MH36B. The radio really smells. This radio does not have a removable power cord, so these power leads right here are built into the radio. On the back of the radio here, we have a couple things. We do have, which is kind of nice, this antenna 1 and antenna 2. So these are not, so there's no antenna ports, but there's kind of these leads that come off the back. Also on the back, we do have some additional inputs. So here we have a data input. Here we have a data input. Here we have an external speaker. Over here we do have an accessory and then a key input. So that's what we have on the back. Kind of go around. Again, it's kind of dirty. There's some marks all over it. I wonder if I can get this cleaned up. It does have these little feet that pop out. Those are still there, so that's kind of nice. These tend to break off usually because they're just kind of plastic, and they start to get brittle over time. So here on the side. Overall, it seems okay. So now we have some questions to ask. One, is this going to power up? Number two, if it powers up, do we have power output on our bands? Do we have receive? And then question number three is, if we take this top cover off, are there going to be any additional options in here? So like I said, the FT-100 it came with a smaller speaker. The speaker wasn't great. The FT-100D came with an upgraded speaker. The FT-100 did not have any additional accessories inside of here. The FT-100D came supplied and installed with a CW filter, a 500 hertz CW filter. It came with the TCXO chip, which is our time-controlled oscillator. So this is a HF, VHF, and UHF radio. The FT-100 did not come with the option for you to be able to use CTC SS codes to access repeaters. The FT-100D came with the board installed that allowed you to do that. So you could still add it as an option to this radio, but from the factory it didn't come with that. Now, if I open this up and some of that stuff is inside of there, great. If I open this up and nothing's in there, well, that's several $100s of accessories that are now missing from what I thought I was buying. So like I said, this was advertised as an FT-100D, but if we look here, we can definitely see it says FT-100. Unlike the FT-897, which came in an 897 and an 897D, but the 897D didn't put the D on to the model. The FT-100D did. So if this was an FT-100D, it would have the letter D at the end there. And then on the bottom, it would say FT-100D on our plate here. First thing though, with any radio that comes into here, we gotta put power poles on because that's not what we're doing here. We don't do that. We have power pole connectors. Now we need to figure out, does this thing work? So we're just gonna plug it in and find out. All right, so here we have the moment of truth. We're gonna go and plug in our power connector here. We are plugged in. Power's on. We have audio. Now, here's what I was talking about with the FT-100 model. That's all the audio there is. That's all the way up. All right, so here's kind of the nice thing about this. I used to own an FT-897, and that was my primary radio for several years. This setup right here, with the buttons and with the down here, the nice thing about this was pretty much all the same. So I'm already kind of used to this setup. That, and I have a signal link that I used with my 897 that should work exactly with this, as well as the USB connections for connecting it to my computer. So I'm kind of a step up right now. So it turns on. That's good. We have the different bands. .50 megahertz. We've got wide FM. So keep going up the bands. Here we have our 2 meter, 440. Then we circle back around, back up to 160, 80, 40, 30, 20. This drops us here at 15 megahertz for some reason. I'm going to guess for WWV. Let's see, 17, 20, 15, 12, and back to 10 meters. That all seems to be working. I guess what we need to see now is, do we have output power? So let's go ahead and hook this up to the dummy load. We'll hook it up to our new SWR watt meter and see what kind of output power we have. So what we did is we just performed a factory reset. We did that by holding down the display and lock keys while the transceiver was turned off. Then we went ahead and turned it back on using the power button. And then we held down those buttons the entire time. Now we can see we're at 7 megahertz even. And this should have reset. This should have reset our transceiver. So the first thing that I'm noticing is if I hold down the microphone key right here, and I'm guessing this is an issue with the microphone itself, I'm hoping. But I'm guessing that this right here is having some issues. Alright, so we did a factory reset. Now if we go in and check here, in our menu we have our HF transmit power is set to 100%. Our 6 meter transmit power is set to 100%. 144 megahertz or 2 meter is set to 100%. And UHF is also set to 100%. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the bands, and then for each of the bands I have it set at FM right now, so that'll give us a constant carrier full power output. We are hooked to our dummy load, and we're hooked to here. Now we are having problems with this microphone. I don't know if it's something in the microphone. I'm hoping it's something in the microphone, not something in the radio. But we're either going to have to take this apart or see if we can find a different microphone to use. So what we're going to do right now is we're just going to see if we can get a power output from here and measure it on here to see what our power output levels are. So this is 160 meters. It's like we're getting about 95 watts out. Let's go up to 80 meters. 97.5 watts out. 40. 97.5. 30 meters. For 30 meters, we have to actually be in band here. And move up into the 30 meter band. 96.8. Again, it's really hard to tell with this. 96.8. 20 meters. 98, 17 meters, 97, 15 meters, 96, 12 meters, 96, 10 meters, 101 on 10 meters, that's pretty good. 6 meters. Oh. 2. That's not good. So we're only getting 2 watts out on 6 meters. Maybe that's why our what we thought was a deal radio turns out is not going to be that great of a deal. So we're supposed to be getting 100 watts output on 6 meters, and right now we're getting 2, which is not good. I went ahead and I switched our coax over to the VHF UHF antenna port. I switched them over on our meter here. We're over on the VHF UHF side here. Now on 2 meters we should be getting 50 watts output. 55, seems pretty good. UHF we're supposed to be getting 20 watts output. About 20, 21, so that's also good. The only problem we're having right now is with 6 meters. So I think our next step is we're going to open up this case here and we're going to take a quick look inside, see if we have any extras. I'm going to guess probably not, because unless the person bought the extras and had them installed, there's not going to be anything in here. But it can never hurt to take a look. All right, we're going to go ahead and take a look inside here. I'm going to take the faceplate off, set this aside. I'm going to take the microphone off, set it aside. We unhooked it. Now a couple things. One, I can already see there is one missing screw here holding the top plate on, so that's interesting. There are just there should be 4 Phillips head screws. So we're going to go ahead, take off the remaining ones. Let's take this top cover off. Now, when you take top cover off, you have to be careful because there is a speaker connected right here. And that speaker gets plugged in right there. So we just went ahead and unplugged that speaker. All right, so a couple things. We open the top of this up. One, it's gross. It was real gross. There's a bunch of, I don't know what that is. Lots of dust. Lots of dust. So we took the top cover off. There are no optional filters installed in this. I'm not surprised. The only filter that's in there is the 2.4 megahertz or 2.4 filter for single sideband, which it comes standard with. We're going to take the bottom off, do a little bit further exploration as well. Aside from being dirty and smelling, I didn't notice any burnt components or anything too out of the ordinary. Nothing that would lead us to believe we have a 6 meter problem, which right now we do. So let's pop this bottom cover off. Take a look inside of here. Right, so inside of our case here, we got a couple things. One, right here is where our TCXO would go. It would connect right here and get screwed down right there. So that is not present. Now, looking on here, we do have our I can't see any burnt up trails or smell anything burnt. I don't see any burnt transistors. Nothing that would lead me to believe that 6 meters should be having a problem. I don't see any, nothing along those lines. So that's on the bottom here. If I flip it over to the top, so we're looking at the top side, a couple things here. One, if I pull back these ribbon cables, right here is where our filters would go if we had optional filters installed. Like I said, the only filter that comes installed on here is this XF-118S. This is a 2.4 hertz filter for 2.4 kilohertz filter, and that is for our for single sideband. That one comes pre-installed. The other thing that we do not have is the CTCSS tone board. So that would get mounted up here somewhere, and it plugs in. There's an 8-pin connector that's not being used. I think that's over here. Yeah, so there's an 8-pin connector right down here where that would get plugged in at. That it's missing. Again, up at the on the top side here, I don't notice anything outright wrong or burnt or smell any burnt stuff. As reluctant as I am to smell the inside of here because it kind of smells like smoke, I don't notice anything off the bat that would lead me to believe 6 meters should be having a problem. So we might have to do a little further investigation into that. For now, we're going to go ahead and button this up. So a couple things. We opened up our FT-100. We found out it doesn't have the filters, doesn't have the TCXO, it doesn't have the CTCSS decoder. So that means, one, we can't use this on repeaters, which I'm okay with. But without having those extra filters and the TCXO installed, it may affect our stability just a little bit. I do have I have a second Yaesu microphone. This is from my FT-100, but it works with this radio as well. So we plugged it into here, and we're going to see if we're getting power output, see if that switch was bad or if it was something else. So I turned my radio on. I'm back at 28040, which is 10 meters. I am on FM, so I'm going to go ahead and key up. Oh yeah, that definitely solved the problem. Now we're showing 101 watts output. Now let's go through the bands. So here we are at 12 meters. We're going to go ahead and go up to actual 12 meters. I don't know why it puts us way low on 12 meters. All right, so we are up into 12 meters. I'm going to move this to FM. 98 watts output, pretty good. 15 meters, FM, 97 and a half. We got 17 meters, 98 watts. Let's see, 20 meters, 97 and a half. 30 meters, 97 and a half. 40 meters, 98. 80 meters, 98. And 160, 95 watts output. But if we go back, we're still only getting 2 watts out. And that's with our 50 megahertz transmit power set to 100%. So 6 meter, no good on this radio. 4, 3, 3.5, and it just drops. So now we know. This is a good deal? Almost. We're almost at a good deal. Maybe. Our whole goal today was to see, is it worth it to buy a used radio off of eBay? Or even just off the internet in general. And right now, I am undecided on that. Now, we did only pay $375 for this radio. This is a radio. It is putting out 100 watts on 160 through 10 meters. It's putting out 50 watts as advertised on 2 meters, 20 watts as advertised on 440. It is made by one of the big three. This is a Yaesu radio, so you can expect some level of quality. Especially this is going on a 20-year-old radio, so it's not like this is it's not that this is fresh new technology. Now, it does have some issues. That's where we have to decide what we want to do with this. I'm going to contact the seller on this, mainly because this was advertised online as the FT-100D. Now, the D model means it comes with the better speaker. It comes with the CW filter built in. It comes with the CTC SS board built in. And it also comes with the TC-XO chip already installed. This doesn't have any of those. And if I have to go source all of those options for this radio, we're talking probably several $100s more in parts, even if I can find those. The filter I could probably find. The TC-XO I could probably find. I think the biggest issue with finding is going to be that CTC SS board, which means right now I could use this to work 2-meter simplex, 2-meter sideband, 2-meter CW, and same with 70 centimeter, but I can't talk on repeaters on this, essentially. So, besides the missing stuff, our microphone didn't work. I was using the microphone from my Yaesu FT-100, which has to go back with that radio. And we have an issue with the VFO knob. The VFO knob is starting to come loose. I already took the control head apart, tried to shore everything back up inside of there. How long that'll last, I don't know, because it still feels a little bit loose, but it's not binding anymore. Now we do have full HF, we do have full output on 160 through 10 meters. We have full output on 2 meter. We have full output on 440, but 6 meters, we have zero output. So we kind of have some pros and cons with this. What do you think? Do you think this was a good deal? I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna take it to Parks, and I am gonna get it on the air within the next week or two, and I'm gonna see if I can use it to make some contacts, see if it actually works. From there, we'll see about maybe sourcing parts for it, putting a new kit together, maybe putting some sort of carrier, things like that. But this is gonna be our POTA project. Like I said, I'm gonna see if I can start maybe sourcing some parts for it and putting together a small little kit. Thanks for everyone. Thanks for joining me today. Leave any comments down below on your thoughts on whether this was a good buy or not. Otherwise, thanks for joining me today. Make sure you subscribe, and 7-3.